throughout our long and proud history of social movements in this country, religious communities and communities of faith have been the backbone of a lot of those movements. And if we wish to be that backbone for this movement today, we cannot divorce the prophetic work of justice from what Andrea Gibson calls the terrible manners of truth. Because there are some terribly inconvenient truths that need to be spoken in this campaign and about Harvard. When this campaign began a few years ago, the students were fundamentally asking Harvard to be a leader on climate justice, to take the leadership of standing up against the fossil fuel industry, to be leaders that change our political and our economic systems. And Harvard responded by saying that they do care about climate change, and that they are responding, and that they're working on engineering solutions, they're working on scientific solutions, they've even got some discussions about policy going on. And they said that this is the job of universities, this is what universities do. So essentially their response to the most unprecedented global crisis is to say, this is what we always do. We're going to keep doing the thing that we always do in the face of an unprecedented crisis. But that's not moral leadership. That's the same old bullshit that got us into this mess. And we asked for leadership, not the same old bullshit. So we should look into exactly what it is that they're doing. They like to celebrate the work being done over across the quad there at the Harvard Center for the Environment, which is almost entirely funded by Bank of America. Now, yesterday, we heard from a woman from South Africa that Bank of America is the primary funder of new coal mines in South Africa. Where I'm from in West Virginia, Bank of America has been the primary funder of mountaintop removal coal mining. So when they celebrate the work that is going on over there, they're saying, yes, we're willing to talk about the environment within the constraints of what is convenient to Bank of America. But that's not leadership. That's the same old bullshit. And we ask for leadership, not the same old bullshit. And we should look at who's in that Center for the Environment. It's Director Dan Schrag, who, as many of us know, is a very outspoken opponent of divestment. He says he cares about climate change, but divestment just isn't the way to get it done. But in addition to working for Harvard, in addition to advising the President of the United States, Dan Schrag also works for C12 Energy to promote their natural gas power plants. Dan Schrag also works for SCS Energy to promote their carbon capture and sequestration plant burning coal in California. So while he says that divestment isn't really the way to go, he's not just an objective scientist, he's an employee of the natural gas and the coal industry. He takes about $10,000 a month from SCS Energy to promote their coal-fired power plant. So we should be calling that out, that that's not leadership on climate change. That's the same old bullshit of representing the fossil fuel industry. And Harvard likes to tout the fact that it's held this panel on climate change this week over in Sanders Theater with their carefully selected representatives to speak about climate change. But even their carefully selected folks included a scientist from Stanford who said that part of the work of educating students about climate change, beyond just the science, is giving them the moral integrity to stand up in this challenge. And that's where Harvard is falling short. That's what they're not willing to talk about, because they're not willing to demonstrate that leadership and that moral integrity. And we see that right here this week, as students and alumni and faculty feel so passionately about this issue and are willing to sleep out all week to stand up for their own future. And what did the Harvard administration do? They ran away. They're not here. They found someplace else to work. They hid. They avoided. After 2 years of belittling these students and telling them that they don't know how change happens, that they don't know how to get things done, that this isn't the way to do it, rather than engage with those students who feel so passionately, those students who need to be empowered to stand up for their future, for the rest of their lives. Those students who have had this challenge dumped on their generation, rather than engage with those students. Our administration has run away. The last time Drew Faust was seen was hiding out over in the Smith Center, but we don't really know exactly where she's working this week. That's not leadership. That's the same old bullshit. Say it with me. We asked for leadership, not the same old bullshit. We asked for leadership, not the same old bullshit. We asked for leadership, not the same old bullshit. We asked for leadership, not the same old bullshit. But we should remember that since we're not getting that leadership from the Harvard administration, we have it in the folks right here behind me and in the folks who've been blockading this building all week long. In the absence of real leadership from the Harvard administration, the Harvard students have been stepping up and becoming the leaders that we need for facing this crisis. They are building their own leadership, and they are having an impact. We are seeing that around the country and around the world. Bill just told me that the leader of the World Bank this morning made a statement about the effectiveness of divestment. Peabody Coal just put out their annual report warning their shareholders that the divestment movement might have a significant impact on their bottom line. These students are showing that they do know how to get things done, and they are getting it done. They are making it happen. And they are our real leadership at Harvard, and we should celebrate them for it. Thank you.